Hey, great Wednesday evening. It is a beautiful evening, period. I'm not going to say a beautiful in the city of Brownsville because it's not in Brownsville. Hey, guys, it has been a eventful day. Like I made mention in regards to my travels this afternoon, this morning. I am in Monterrey, Nuevo León. Came to get finalized my motor thing, guys. So I'll be here for a little bit. I should be back tomorrow in time for tomorrow's forum. Joe, are you going to be at tomorrow's forum?
Yes, unless something happens, but I should be there.
Awesome. Tomorrow at 6:30, guys. Guys, let me say before we go into it, it's going to be a very, very short show because of the back noise. We are at a restaurant, so I'm going to cut it very, very short. There's 2 points that we want to talk about tonight, and I hope that y'all will be okay with it. We'll even it out tomorrow night after the forum. We'll probably have a lot to say, won't we, Joe?
I hope so. Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. Guys, let's start off with the news of the day. And again, guys, thank y'all. I'm going to be very, very... Luciano, I love you, Luciano. Good evening, El Gallo, good evening, Janina, good evening, Lea. Stay positive. I love you, bro. I have a crush on you. Did I just say that on live? Guys, let me say, guys, the first thing that we wanted to talk about was the lawsuit that was filed today. Well, that we found out, the lawsuit in regards to Sheriff Eric Garza being sued by Cameron County. And I want to share the premise of it, the way I understand it. And Joe, you have a little bit of knowledge in it, and maybe you could fill in some of the gaps. Will that be okay?
Sure.
The way that I understood it, guys, and guys, if you don't mind not throwing a lot of comments on there, because that way we could get to it real quick, and then we'll go through some comments, guys, if you have any questions. But the way I understood it, Eric Garza, Sheriff Eric Garza, and Mr. Gracia came into the constable's office and basically informed the deputy constables that now all of them were going to report to him because they fell under him. The constables, the deputy constables were not used to this. So they shared their concerns with the county commissioners. The county commissioners had conversations with the sheriff in regards to, hey, sheriff, let them do their own security thing at the courthouse, and you handle the sheriff department over there. And the reasoning that they gave the deputies, guys, was that being that our constables are elected officials, that they hold some power of representation for the individuals that voted them into the office. So how much how far extent is their employment with under the sheriff, current sheriff, to as they are accountable to the people. And this is where there's going to be that little tug of war, guys. Are they under the sheriff, or are they under the constables, who are also elected officials? And right now, let me tell you guys, I don't think it could have come at a worse time. And this is my take, not knowing a lot of the facts, and Joe's going to fill in a lot of the facts. It couldn't come at the worst time because of the pandemic, because we're going through all these struggles, guys. And now there's a big old hoopla. There's this side over here and then this side over here. Guys, we don't need divided leadership, guys. We don't need division at the county level where we have our sheriff over here and our constables over here. Now, who is right? Who is wrong, guys? I honestly do not know. I think Joe has some information, and then maybe we could share an informed opinion in regards to our take. What is your take on it, Joe?
Okay. First of all, I want you to know that what I'm going to voice is my opinion based on previous facts or things that I know had happened in the past. I have zero knowledge about what's going on right now, other than the fact that there's some kind of a lawsuit or a, like you said, a tug of war back and forth. So let me start by saying that one of the things that I found odd is that the courthouse has always been managed by the sheriff. The elected sheriff of the county is usually the one that is responsible and in charge of the deputies that are serving as bailiffs. Now, let's keep in mind that the judges have the right to select who they want to be their their bailiff. The entity, the law enforcement entity that is responsible, is who holds their law enforcement commission, but they report to the sheriff. So some years back, there was some falling out, and there was an issue where the sheriff decided to pull and say, I'm not going to hold your commission because anything you do is going to jeopardize the sheriff's department. So there was a little bit of a struggle. And I'm talking about several years back that happened. And the bailiffs for the judges were left kind of in limbo. At that time, the constable said, I'll pick up their commission with the understanding that I will take control of the bailiffs at the courthouse. And therein was formed an MOU that I understand happened. The MOU was a temporary MOU. Ultimately, the elective sheriff is responsible for the bailiffs at the courthouse. That is, traditionally how it is. Historically, that's how it's always been. Except for, like I said, some years back, there was that agreement between the sheriff and the constable. Now, what happened with that agreement? We have a new administration at the sheriff's office. Now, obviously he had nothing to do with that agreement. So this is an assumption because I don't know what the sheriff is thinking, saying, nor the constable. So I'm not speaking on their behalf. I'm speaking on my opinion. There must have been, during their audit, as they're taking control of the sheriff's office, they must have, in my opinion, they said, why are we not controlling the bailiffs, or why are we not in charge as it is historically done by the sheriff's office? And I'm sure this is where the sheriff enacted the right, which I believe is his right, to take possession of the courthouse, like he is in control of the jail, the Cameron County Jail. So there must have been some kind of disagreement as to that method of that MOU, and I'm sure that the sheriff is just at this point exercising the right to take control of that courthouse as it's supposed to be.
Let me say, it is a little bit confusing, guys. Who's right and who's wrong? It's kind of very, very hard to ultimately determine. But I sort of agree with Joe in the sense that, guys, Eric Garza is our sheriff, guys. Duly elected sheriff of Cameron County, guys. Where I tend to disagree a little bit is, then why do we have elected constables? You know, why do we have elected constables if they're not going to answer to the people that elected them? Because if what the sheriff is claiming, then even the constables fall under his command.
No. Well, and I'm sorry, that's not how it works. The sheriff's office is its own entity. The constables have their own precincts. Now, we used to have more precincts, and since then we've reduced the number. And I'll tell you, again, in the past, they have tried to eliminate the constable's office, but you're talking about an office that existed before the sheriff's office ever existed. You know, the constable is one of the earliest forms of law enforcement that we have. And in such, we're not going to lose that. The constables has most of the time served as a civil process department. So that is how it's mostly, yes, Sergio, thank you. That's how it's normally done, where the constable offices serve within their precinct. Now, they have the same jurisdiction, they have the same police powers that any other law enforcement has in the state of Texas, but they operate within their precincts, right? I mean, they are responsible to the people that voted them in within their precincts, which is divided, throughout the county. But the sheriff's office is ultimately in control of the county jail and the county courthouse.
But the sheriff would be all those little precincts, because I know that precinct 1, precinct 2, all those precincts fall under the sheriff anyway.
I mean, they're part of Cameron County. I mean, they are part of Cameron County.
They're all part of Cameron County.
Correct. It's just a jurisdictional thing, and depending on who you ask, if you ask and this has always been a back and forth. The sheriff will tell you that they're the highest form of law enforcement in the county, and the constable will sit there and say, "Well, wait a second. They're an elected official just like the sheriff, but responsible to the people within their precinct. And again, most constables nowadays, for the most part, are work in civil process. So sorry, I just want to be sure that everyone understands that I'm not stating that is what's going on. I'm letting you know what I know from the past, from my experience, and what I believe is happening. So I don't want any miscommunications that Joe Valdez said this is what happened, because I'm
Well,
not.
it's very unfortunate, guys, because I think during this time, we want all these entities to somehow work together. And it is apparent, Joe, that that is not the case. There is a pull, there is a divide out there. Who is right, who is wrong? It's very sad that they're going to court to ultimately decide who is in the right and who is in the wrong. I would have rather preferred that they would have come to some understanding amongst themselves. With that said, again, Eric Garza is our sheriff, and more power to him for that position, guys. I think for too long, the county commissioners have felt that they wanted complete and total control of everything that goes on in the county. And let me say, guys, that is a big no-no for us, for we the people, guys, because we need, as the executive, the Congress, legislative guys, and the judicial, we need to have that separation, guys. And each little entity, they need to have their certain powers, and they shouldn't overlap each other. For them to go to court to weed all this stuff out is just unfortunate.
Yeah, there has to be a checks and balance. There has to be a checks and balance. But I'm going to tell you, Erasmo, I know that this sounds like crazy, but this is not the first time stuff like this happens. There's always that tug back and forth. It's happened before where, you're not going to use the dispatching center that the sheriff is in charge of. So there's always that, there's been that disagreement. Also the jail, so this is not the first time that there is it's not the first time that there's a disagreement between the constables and the sheriff. It's happened with Lucio prior to this administration. It's happened with the Conrado Cantu administration. It's happened back when the Alex Perez days.
It never went to the courts.
Not that I know of, or at least not to this degree.
I'm actually going to have dinner right now. Guys, we're going to get more information as it comes out, but that is the gist of what we've got so far. We'll research it. The other topic, and again, it's going to be a very short show, guys. The other topic was Sylvia Atkinson, guys. Let me say that there is a hidden agreement in regards to the prosecution for sentencing, guys. Let me explain what that means to me. I've been saying this for a while, guys. Sylvia Atkinson is singing on every individual that she had dealings with here in Cameron County. Every single one of them. That is why the recommendation that they gave, that is sealed, that we cannot see, guys, is based on the information that she is constantly providing. That is why the date had been pushed forward to May the 4th, guys. On May the 4th, we're going to have a clearer understanding as to what individuals out there she has thrown under the bus. Who they are is anybody's guess. I have a couple of names in mind. I will share them later on. Joe, do you have any take in regards to Sylvia's case?
I don't have enough information to be able to comment on it. I really don't know what's happening, other than that it just keeps getting pushed back further and further. But I honestly don't have any inside information that I could share.
Good, Joe. How's campaigning going?
It's been hard work. It's been tiring. We've been out there every day, going door to door, and we're working it. We're working the campaign.
Guys, I'm going to end it at 15 minutes, guys. Short show tonight. I'm in Monterrey. There's a lot of noise around me, guys. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock in the morning with more information in regards to Sylvia's case. We'll try to get more information tonight in regards to the Eric Garza case. Joe, any final words?
Just to remind everybody, guys, that we are, 4 days away from the start of early voting. It is very important. Once again, we can't stress it enough. This is one of the most important elections that we've had locally. So it is important that everybody comes out and votes, and not only you, but bring your family members. One of the things that Osmo, real quick, I know that I know your food's probably there, and that's why you're trying to get off. But one of the common things that I'm hearing when I'm talking to people out there, number one, they don't even know that this election is that early voting starts, that elections on May 1st.
Monday.
And these are registered voters. I've talked to several registered voters, and they're so used to the November elections that this is the reason why we have such a small outcome, when it comes to the May elections, because people really don't come out in May. So it's imperative to everybody out there that you bring your family, your friends, your neighbors. Let's bring as many voters as you can. I need a lot of help from you guys. Anyone that's willing to help, I humbly ask for your support and your vote. And I thank you, Erasmo, for having me out here and giving me an opportunity.
Joe, tomorrow at 9:00 after the forum, we'll come back on and we'll have we'll be back in town, guys. I do apologize for it, guys. It's just a very difficult situation, guys. But Joe, thank you. We'll have more information tomorrow in regards to the lawsuit. We'll have more information in regards to everything. Guys, social distance, face coverings, hand sanitizers. Guys, please be good to each other and please continue to be good to me. Love y'all. Thank y'all.